Hello everyone, thanks so much for joining today's webinar. My name is Lizanne Lottering. I'll go ahead and kick things off. Thanks for making the time to join today's webinar on increasing adoption and boosting collaboration in Microsoft Teams. So in regards to the agenda for today's webinar, we'll start out with a very short introduction. We'll talk a bit about Karlie Log Analytics and who we are. And then I will show you how our engagement and analytics solution can help you increase your customers' usage of Teams. And then we'll talk about how to drive adoption and boost collaboration in Teams. And at the end, like I said, we'll be taking some Q&A, so feel free to send your questions throughout the course of this presentation. So a brief introduction. Karlie Log Analytics has been around for about 14 years now, since 2005. We are based out of Boston, and over the last 14 years, we've been focused on analytics designed for SharePoint and now Office 365 and Teams. And our flagship solution is Karlie Log Analytics, and it's built specifically for internal platforms, including all versions of SharePoint, as well as SharePoint Online and also Microsoft Teams. Our goal is to help our customers constantly improve SharePoint and Teams based on how it's being used. So there are three main pillars that we talk to our customers about. The first is monitor, which is tracking the usage within SharePoint and Teams. The second is engaging users, asking them what their needs are, what their pain points are, and what's not working for them. And then finally, the most important pillar is enhance. We want to make sure we are constantly improving SharePoint and Teams based on those two pillars. So the idea is to have these actionable metrics which will allow us to constantly help our users to come back and use SharePoint and Teams more. And then as I mentioned earlier, here's a brief overview of our various analytics and employee engagement solutions. So our flagship product is Karlie Log Analytics, and this is available both as an on-prem as well as a SaaS solution. Gamify, a revolutionary SharePoint-based gamification service which encourages users to take action in the portal and ultimately increasing SharePoint adoption. And then finally, we have Karlie Log Engage, a great interactive solution for sending internal communication campaigns across the SharePoint portal and Teams platform and engaging with your users. With Engage, you can connect with your users to know what their needs are, send reminders, launch surveys, and dig deep to understand how you can improve various aspects of the portal and push them to be productive and collaborative in Teams. So with that, I'll jump right into a demo. So there are two things that I want to show you today. The first thing will be the data and the insights that Karlie Log Analytics can provide, and the second will be what do we then do with that data? How do we actually leverage those insights to take action and to actively drive adoption and collaboration in the Teams platform. So this is a dashboard for Teams, and you can see that there's data on how people are adopting Teams. Firstly, we are looking here at team overview. So starting off here, we can see all of our current teams. But if we want to see data for a specific team, we can also choose which team we want to report on. I'll go ahead and choose the management team. And now you can see that the data is reflecting only the management team. We can also filter that by a specific channel within the management team. And over here, we can see who our top contributors are and sort them by if they are most active by thread started, channel messages, replies, or attachments. If I hop into the next dashboard, here you can see the team's activity. So you can see which teams are more active, and you can filter that by most or the number of members, channels, messages, replies, mentions, likes, and really any data that you are curious about to see which teams are more active, or if we scroll down, more inactive, and those are then the ones that need a little bit more training and support. What's really nice here is that we can see who our top teams are and also how active each top team is to really get a benchmark of what a productive or successful team looks like for us. You can also get even more in depth, and we can sort this by office and department. So you can get more insights on how different locations and different groups are using Teams and what their top level of activity looks like. If I hop into Team Overview, there we go. Again, I can first of all choose which team I want to report on, a few, or just one specific team, as it is in this case management, and I can drill down into that specific team or teams, and also within that team or teams I can choose which channel I want to filter the data by, and in that channel I can see which users are more active by thread started, channel messages, replies, and on the flip side this can also help us to see which users are maybe not using the Teams platform to its full potential. If I hop into influential users, here in this dashboard you can see down to the user level, and with this information you can drive adoption by finding out who these influential users are. So you can see here who is using Teams the most, and once you know who these influential users are, you can reach out to them, you can invite them to share some tips or host a quick session, maybe explaining some how-tos on using Teams to motivate and support those inactive users. Also, we can see how many times each user has been mentioned, and we can also see the members' interactions with each other. And then if I hop into influential content, so for each team and channel, we can see if they are sharing files. We can see if they are using apps. So if customers want to give training for teams, and we know a specific team is maybe not using an app, they might not know that it's a functionality. So when we train, this really helps us and informs us on what to focus our training on. And also because of the big move from Slack or from Skype for Business to Teams, it's very important that we track the user's productivity within Teams and see if they are actually being productive and collaborative and not purely using the Teams platform the way they use Slack, for example, as a platform just for chatting. So with all this data, you can, for example, see that a specific team has maybe not been active in the last 40 days. So how do you use this data to actually intervene and to drive the activity or the user behavior that you want? So that is where CRM Log Engage comes in. So the point of CRM Log Engage is to further engage the end users. And everything here in CRM Log Engage is based on the information that I've just shown you that's captured by CRM Log Analytics. So say for example, we have seen in the data that there are users who did not interact with Microsoft Teams ever, or let's say in the last, 14 days. I want to send a very targeted message to this very specific audience to drive them to the platform, to get them to be productive and collaborative in the Teams platform. So I don't want to bombard everyone with this message. I just want to send a message maybe to users who belong to a specific team. Maybe it was the marketing team. So it's a very targeted message to a very targeted audience. And how will this message be sent to them? So this message could either be sent to them as a text message. Maybe they are in the sales team, they're out in the field all day, they don't have access to things like SharePoint or Teams at that moment, then a text message would be the best channel to send this message in. Maybe they are extremely active in SharePoint, and then the best way to connect to them would be to send them a message that will pop up maybe as a header or a footer inside the SharePoint portal with a reminder that they have access to Teams or a link back to Teams. Maybe we can even send them an email, or they are still active in Slack and I want to send them a message letting them know that soon they won't have access to Slack anymore and we are migrating to Teams or moving to Teams, and I want them to first of all be aware of this, and secondly send them a link to Teams that they can access. Or what is better than to get them to the Teams platform than sending them a message right within Teams. So these are all the different channels which you can use to send messages to this audience that we have selected. So this message could either be, say for instance, you want to do Teams training, you can invite them to Teams training. And then there could be a call to action, which in this case will be to RSVP. Or maybe you've noticed in the data that there are users belonging to a specific team that haven't been active in the last 14 days and you want to know why, because you want to know what to focus your training and support on. Then you can even ask a question. You can say, I've noticed that you haven't been active in the Teams platform in the last 14 days. Please give me some feedback as to why that is. And then your RSVP could be an open question. So it's bi-directional communication, not only you sending the messages to get the users to use the platform more often and to collaborate more and to be more productive in Teams, but also getting this valuable feedback from the users to know what to do in terms of your training and support. So when will this message be sent? It can either be sent immediately. You can schedule it to be sent at a specific date and time, whether it's your time zone or the user's time zone, or, which is really neat, you can trigger it based on their behavior in SharePoint. So when they are scrolling down a specific page in SharePoint or viewing a specific page in SharePoint, then you know they're active, they are focused, they are engaged, and that would then be the best time for this message to pop up in SharePoint with a reminder about a file in Teams they have to collaborate on, with a reminder that they have access to Teams, with a link back to Teams, or whatever the case may be. So all of this is to get the users to use the platform more often, to be more familiar with the platform, and to start being productive and collaborative in the Teams platform. If I go back, the next thing I want to discuss is how to leverage data to take action and drive adoption. So by increasing adoption, obviously users can be much more productive. And Engage allows you to engage your users in order to expose them to this new or relevant content and features in the app. It enables you to establish new methods in which to communicate, and these methods maximize the potential success to gain the user's attention and complete the relevant tasks, such as telling users in a specific team or teams to check out a file maybe before the end of the day, or informing teams or individuals of assignments that have to be done. So groups that adopt Microsoft Teams experience streamlined communication and improved productivity in a modern collaborative workspace. So we are helping people adjust to using Teams with well-defined change management strategies. So a company can have fundamental changes in the way that their employees interact and communicate, and with Teams at the hub of communication, meeting and calling. Teams is more than just a product. It represents fundamentally different way of working, and as Teams adoption grows, we are redefining how we use it to create a better collaboration experience for people in the modern workplace. So teams can streamline communication, teams can improve collaboration and get more things done together, but that is only if it is actually adopted and consumed by employees. And the successful adoption of Teams is not just about the technology, it represents a behavior change. So Teams is more than a product, it changes the way people work, and that change is, like I said, about people. And we found increasing adoption is as much about social and cultural changes and challenges as it is about technology and skills. So that said, while individual needs are at the heart of change, we also recognize the need for structured, documented process for people to manage the change. So we must provide a common tool set for them to use and help them to scale up to organization-wide adoption. So here are the most important pillars of change management to help us from start to finish. So the first would be awareness. So the awareness pillar is about landing the message. Before employee training, we knew that we needed to make a good first impression, interest people, find a message that excited them about Teams, and for employees to first of all understand how Teams would help them. And then the second pillar would be engagement. So the engagement pillar builds on awareness and starts putting Teams in the hands of users along with the training, the guidance and tools to succeed. And this includes training, consulting, and a champion community that supports early adopters and leads engagement in their organization, like I've told you earlier with the top contributors. Then measurement is the third pillar. Measurement tracks the steps of the engagement pillar. So once we engage people, we need to measure adoption success by tracking usage and activity, like I've shown you with Karlie Log Analytics. So measurement is about getting also actionable feedback and using that feedback to improve the implementation and adoption process. And the fourth pillar would be management. The management pillar has the strongest life cycle of any of the pillars in the process, and management is about gaining efficiency and ensuring user satisfaction once Teams is in place. It means continuing to support established groups and finding user stories and training opportunities that encourage broader collaboration. So Teams brings together several tools and communication methods and provides a hub for collaboration. And Teams also has the potential to offer a new, more efficient way to work and can significantly change collaboration and teamwork. But in order to drive that collaboration, users must be encouraged often to take action in the Teams platform and to use the collaborative tools that integrates with Teams. So please do send us any questions you may have in the GoToWebinar questions box. I have a question from Rachel. What is the licensing for this? So this is a SaaS platform, Rachel, so it's a yearly subscription based on the number of users being tracked, and I'd be happy to send you a link to the pricing page and get you maybe additional information once we know how many additional users you want to track and target with these tools. I have another question here from Andrew. Can we use it for SharePoint Online? Yes, Andrew, absolutely. You can use this tool with SharePoint On-Prem and also with SharePoint Online. Within Office 365, we track SharePoint and Yammer and Teams, and also in the roadmap, we will soon be releasing tracking capabilities for OneDrive. I can get you a link to our roadmap after the call as well if you're interested. I have two more questions. I'll take these two questions and then I'll wrap it up. So I have a question here from Sarah. How easy or difficult is it to deploy? So Sarah, What's really neat about this tool, it is in fact designed for SharePoint and Teams, so there's no need for customization when you want to deploy. Basically, with our setup wizard, you can get it up and running within an hour and already start to collect data. And then I have the last question here. It's from Marcus. Do you have a trial? Yes, we do have a trial. We have a free trial, and we also have a proof of concept for people who want a little bit of a longer evaluation to try more environments and features versus the free trial, which is quite limited. And I can definitely share some more information about what is included in each. So we are, I'm basically just going to wrap up this session. There are no more questions. And just as a reminder, we have recorded this webinar and we will be sending out a recording tomorrow for you to share with your colleagues who were maybe unable to attend. And then we invite you to visit us at cardiologanalytics.com to book your free demo. And you can always tweet us at @cardiolog. And then for more information and helpful tips, you can also check out our blog at blog.cardiologanalytics.com. And you can also contact us directly by sending an email at info@cardiologanalytics.com. So I will leave you all with this. A huge thanks to everyone who joined us today and to everyone who sent in their questions. I'll be in touch with all of you who asked a question which I wasn't able to answer now, and we'll be sending you that recording tomorrow. Have a great rest of your day. Take care.